Okay, today we're going to kind of have our introduction to problem solving, and then we're going to spend like 2 weeks on story problems nonstop. And then we get to even spend more time on story problems because they're never going to end. Problem solving steps. These are my steps. Number 1, read the problem. That's not a typo. The first time you're going to read the problem, you're going to read it all the way through just to pick up the context. Are we buying party hats at the store? Are we selling balloons? Are we trying to find how many elephants that did something? Okay, what is the situation? What's the story that's going on? Okay, after that, you're going to read the problem again. This time you're going to highlight kind of important pieces of information and kind of really start looking at that problem critically. The next step would be to choose a variable to represent the unknown. There's obviously an unknown if we have a problem to solve. Okay? Whether it's the number of elephants or the number of party hats or the number of balloons. Okay? Let's try to get away from using X and Y. And let's start using letters that relate to what it is we're trying to find. So if we're trying to find balloons, let's use B. If we're trying to use elephants, use E. If we're trying to find party hats, use H. Okay? That triggers with our mind at the end when we go, oh, H was 10. H triggers hats in our mind, and so that we know what we actually found. Okay? And that's beneficial, especially as things get more complicated. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a drawing. Whenever possible, we are going to make a drawing. Okay? And that helps us set up problems. Then we're going to take that English written story problem and translate it into math language, okay, as an equation. We must write equations for all our story problems from today on, okay? We need to start thinking algebraically. That's our mission in Algebra 1, is to think algebraically, which is a different skill than problem solving. Okay, we could probably solve the problem by guessing and checking and just adding here and subtracting here and figure it out. Okay, but writing it algebraically is definitely a different skill that we need to be working on. So that's what we're going to do. In fact, on your tests and quizzes, all story problems are going to be worth 3 points. The equation you used to solve it is going to be worth 2. The answer is only worth 1. So if you just guess and check or figure them out, you're only going to get a third of the points possible. Okay, so that's really important. And then again, we're going to solve the equations. We're going to ask ourselves, is our solution reasonable? Does it make sense? Okay, and after you agree that it does make sense, then you're going to write your solution in a complete sentence with context from the original problem. So if we're selling elephants, then the word elephants must be in your sentence, right? We're just going to write the answer is 5. Yes, that's a sentence, but it doesn't have the context. What's 5? Okay? So 5 elephants ate this many tons of food in the week or something, whatever. Okay? So this first one, there's not a lot of context, so our sentence is going to be kind of lame. But twice a number added to 7 is the same as 3 subtracted from the number. Find the number. Well, let's let n be our number. I know that's not very imaginative, but let's do that. So twice a number would be 2n. Added to 7, so we're going to add 7. What does is mean? Equals. The same as 3 subtracted from the number. So this is a number with 3 subtracted from it, right? So it's got to be n minus 3. Okay? Now we've written the equation. Now we can solve. So go ahead and solve. So n is negative 10. Now, there is not a lot of context to this problem here. It's not a lot of story. So we can't really write a real awesome sentence. So we're just going to have to write the number is negative 10 because that's about all we've got, right? There's just not a lot of context here. So the sentence could be the number is negative 10.